Hello, my name is Caesarea Wright Beveridge, and I will be your instructor for this course, Theater Appreciation. Well, what is theater appreciation? A theater appreciation is just that, appreciating theater. That means what is behind the scenes, what does it take to make a magnificent production or play, whether it's for 30 people or whether it's for 30,000 people. Okay. For instance, we're going to talk about the director, the producers, of course, the playwrights, the actors. When the musicals, we're going to be elaborating on singers. We're going to talk about the origin of theater. How did it begin in the first place? And how has it changed over time? The four plays that they use throughout the entire semester to explain all the aspects of theater are A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, You Can't Take It With You by Hart and Kaufman. Also, you can't do any plays without, of course, Shakespeare's. And the one we're going to use this time is going to be Macbeth. And we have the phenomenal musical that is on everything, and that's actually on the cover of our textbook, Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Okay. As a matter of fact, our textbook is entitled Third Edition Theater as a Human Action, An Introduction to Theater Arts by Thomas Hitchcock. So I am very excited about working with you this semester. My email is zazeria.wright@augustatech.edu. Please do not hesitate to ask questions. And the first thing you need to do, of course, is log into Blackboard. Make sure you log in to get all of your assignments done. I know we're going to have a great semester. Thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to go over Chapter 1 and a little bit of Chapter 2. And this will be broken up into different parts. So I would like for you to look at each part. Should be about 4 parts. It's not only about 5 minutes long, but these video clips can help you because they're going to be information that's going to also be on the test. Okay. Well, our first clip we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 4 plays that will be discussed throughout the semester, throughout the textbook. The first play, of course, is Macbeth by Shakespeare, A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, You Can't Take It With You by Hart and Kaufman, and also Hamilton, who have graced the cover of our book, by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Okay. Well, let's go ahead, and I had you to look at a little clip about Hamilton, but how about we just kind of look at a little bit about Lin-Manuel Miranda, the playwright for Hamilton. Okay. Lin-Manuel Miranda is an American composer, lyricist, singer, actor, producer, and playwright, widely known for starring in Broadway musicals. Another musical is The Heights that he composed and wrote. Hamilton, of course, is another one of his award-winning, or pretty much his latest award-winning musical. It has won a Grammy Award, Emmy Award, Pulitzer Prize, and 3 Tony Awards. And this is a magnificent play. If you can catch it on Disney Plus, they have it, there for free, and it is a great play. Okay? And of course, one thing that this play entails is it entails different cultures. They have, regardless of what your nationality is or your culture, he plays, different people in other roles that normally you just would not be in. And also he has ballet, hip hop culture. He mixes all kind of music, R&B and soul, classical music. All of this um, is part of Hamilton, and that's what makes the musical so fascinating, is he took all of the culture. So a lot of times people will look at this musical, and one thing they would say is the past meeting the present. Okay. So if I say on the test, name a play where the past meet the present, of course, that means we're talking about Hamilton. The next play we're going to talk about is Shakespeare's Macbeth. Fascinating play. Of course, he's done many of them, but they chose this particular one to use in an example. So what I want you to be able to do is distinguish between the different plays, just from different categories. Well, so let's talk a little bit about what is Macbeth about. Well, it starts off Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo is pretty much the person that's traveling with them. He's coming back from war. They're both coming back from war, and they run into three witches. Okay, and the three witches tell them, they tell Macbeth that he will be king, and then they tell Banquo that his descendants will be king. Okay, when they get back, Macbeth tells Lady Macbeth and about the prophecy of the three witches. And what ends up happening is because of their greed and their lust for power, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth do everything humanly possible to make the prophecy of those three witches come true. And so they go on this murderous rampage, killing anyone and everyone that will get in their way that might be able to take over the throne. And the first person they kill is the present king, which is King Duncan. Okay. Later on, they kill Banquo. They try to kill his sons. So it is a lot of, lot of things going on when it comes to Macbeth. We're going to talk about it a little more in depth later on when we talk about Shakespeare's Big Four. But like I said, right now, I just want you to be able to distinguish between the different plays. Okay, so that is pretty much, Macbeth. Okay, the next story we're going to talk about is A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. And Lorraine Hansberry, at the time, was a young playwright, and her words were so profound. Her play was so profound. She was the first African American to have her play on Broadway. Of course, this is the 1950s. So, that it wasn't the norm that everyone would have their play on Broadway, but her play dealt with so many different social issues um, that, opened up the doors for so many other things at the time. Okay. So what is A Raisin in the Sun about? Well, A Raisin in the Sun is about an African American family living in Chicago in the 1950s. And they live in this apartment building. And in this apartment building, there are other families, other African American families that live there. They stay in a one-bedroom apartment. Okay. And all of the families in this building share the bathroom. Okay. And so what ends up happening, how the story opens up, is Walter Lee is the father, and Walter Lee has passed, and they're waiting for the insurance check from the company. We know a lot of times when people pass, they have insurance, so they're waiting on the insurance check. And when they get the insurance check, the check is for $10,000. Now, remember, this is the 1950s. Okay. So, with this $10,000, the mother, which is Lena Younger, she wants to take a portion of the money and she wants to buy a home. But she wants to buy a home in a white suburban area, which also causes another issue because, like I said, this is the 1950s, and we haven't quite dealt, of course, with integration, especially integration into different neighborhoods. But yet, Walter Lee wants to take that money and he wants to invest in a liquor business. He feels that, the way to go is to invest in a business and this will be an ongoing income. Okay. The mother and Walter Lee clash on what to do with the funds because the mother, she wants to get a home for her family. And she also wants to put aside money for her daughter, Benitha, who wants to go to medical school, who's in medical school. Okay. And there's another character, Ruth, which is Walter Lee's wife, who also wants to move to move into a new home because her and Walter Lee, they have a son and they want him to grow up in a different environment. Okay. So that is Raising the Sun. That is one of the plays that you will see in its entirety. It is a great play. Even today, they got two different versions of it. The first version, of course, is with Sidney Poitier and all of those amazing characters, and the latest version is with Felicia Rashad. Um, but both versions are great, and it is a story still significant of today, dealing with social issues. The last play that we're going to talk about is You Can't Take It With You. Okay, You Can't Take It With You by Hart and Kaufman, Miles Hart and Kaufman. Well, what is this play basically based on? This play is about an eccentric family called the Sycamore family. And the Sycamore family, they have crazy habits like the uncle does fireworks in the basement. The grandfather has never paid income tax. The mother is writing an erotic play. The sister has been a ballerina and she really hasn't progressed. And there are some other characters in there that have some strange things or ways of doing things. The only normal person in this whole play is Alice Sycamore. Alice. Okay, well, the problem evolves is when Alice is scared to bring home her fiance, Tony Kirby. Tony Kirby comes from a wealthy, snobbish family, and she does not know how her fiance is going to react to her eccentric family.